Hello everyone, my name is Kay, and this is a pros and cons review of the demo for the game Wild and Chill on Not Now Mom, I'm Gaming. This will probably be a shorter type of review, just because it is a repetitive style of game. Survival, you're picking up things in order to craft and stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot to talk about. Not a whole lot going on. But the first thing I realized when I saw this game on Steam was it looks an awful lot like Cast and Chill, and it is by the same developers. I thought that was pretty cool. They made another game. And when you start at the demo, it doesn't actually take you to a title screen or anything like that. It just puts you right into the game. So if you want to go to the title screen area, you have to escape or pause, and then it'll take you to this pop-up. You get settings, language controls, and reset demo if you want to do it all over again. As far as settings go, there's an interaction style. Quick is press for default action, hold for more actions. Balanced is press for default action or show options if not possible, and hold for more actions. And then sticky is press to show actions and press again to perform. I stuck with balanced. Next is a camera. You can zoom out or prefer not to. Then the graphics are full screen or not. The screen resolution, FPS, and VSync. Then you got all the volume controls. The volume controls for me are not all the way maxed, but they're pretty high up there. I can't really hear anything in game. There's really subtle sounds, but as far as sound effects of the forest and maybe a creek or rabbits rustling around, I can't really hear anything, even with the volume settings stuck to this. So I don't know. I had my headphones on. So normally I can hear a lot better with my headphones on than with stereo, but I really wasn't picking up hardly anything. And then if you want to check out the controls, you can go in there. I am using a controller for this game. You can use mouse and keyboard as well. Not a whole lot of options to do, which is great for a game like this. When you actually start playing the game, you have a checklist: survival basics, find drinking water, find something to eat, craft a blade, build a campfire, and build a shelter. Obviously, you don't have to do all that in any kind of order. You can do it however you want, and once you've done it, it'll check it off the list. I think this is more of a tutorial thing than actually a quest type of ordeal. It's telling you what you need to do, and then you have to figure out how to do this. And then once you've done that, then you're like, okay, so you get the basics of the game by completing the survival basics. It's a tutorial without actually being a tutorial. The first animal we encounter is a black bear, by the way. And when you do encounter certain things, either objects you pick up, interact with, or just environmental stuff, it is written down in your notebook. So it says black bear discovered, even though that looks an awfully lot like a brown bear. It does look like a brown bear, right? Can black bears be brown? We went to Yosemite for train vacation recently, and they did say they come in different colors despite being called a black bear. Your notebook actually holds a whole lot of stuff to it. Obviously, this is the demo, so we're not going to get a whole lot of things to see. So for the creatures, we can see a bear and a rabbit. But later on, we'll pick up other things. For the other tabs, which there are 6 of, I like this concept. I really like this concept, but some of the stuff, I wish I had a little bit more information to it. I won't go into that here though. I'll save it for when we get later into the game and it's more revealed. So this black bear is like walking toward us, and I don't want to die in the first 10 seconds of playing this demo, so we're just gonna keep breezing on by to the right and picking stuff up. I did pick up that blue wit mushroom, and we got a check for find something to eat. The list of survival basics don't disappear as you do them, they just kind of fade out into the background so you know you've done it. So this is the crafts and stuff tab. We got the, it's gonna say ingredients, it's not, no, materials for the bow bed. And if you click on the bow bed, it'll actually move the tooltip over to the item required to make it. But I like how it shows the icons for what the bow bed looks like, as well as what the materials are going to look like for when you pick them up and put them in your inventory. And also the descriptions. Descriptions are nice as well. Nothing too detailed. I think every silhouette you see in the notebook is everything that you are able to find or make within the demo. I don't think it shows anything outside of the range of the demo. So here I clicked on the bow bed and it hovered over the conifer bow to just give the name of it. And then from there we can kind of go into another tab to find out where that might be obtained from. There are moments where you will come across animals in this game, and your dog does bark when there is an animal up ahead, so that's nice. I know in Cast and Chill, the dog would bark on the boat, and it would make you think that there's maybe a rare fish down at the bottom, but I don't think that was the case in that game. I think the dog just kind of randomly barks. But I could be wrong on that one. In this game, though, the dog's bark does serve as a purpose. And while you can crouch near animals to sneak up on them, if you get close enough, they will run off. It's not like you can sneak up behind a rabbit and just grab it. Also, I can't imagine your dog is very stealthy. When you open up the inventory, you do have several spaces for items. This backpack can fill up pretty quickly by the kind of the end portion, I'd say, of this demo. But for me, I like to pick up things. So if I see something, I'm like, oh, I gotta pick it up. And then you have excess products in your backpack that you don't need. So there is a limit to how many stacks of items there are, so a stick could have 10 of them in a single stack, at which point if you pick up another one, a second stack will be created. So it's nice to limit yourself to that single stack so you don't take up more backpack space than necessary. And certain items that you click on, you can do things with. Sometimes it's just to drop and drop all and then look at them in the book. For the blue wit, of course, you can eat it. It's always wise to read the description before you eat something, though. I'm pretty sure in the demo you can eat all the edible stuff that there are, but I think outside of the demo, it's noted that there are mushrooms that you shouldn't eat. So I'm sure those are going to be mushrooms that you can pick up and put in your backpack, and that you just probably don't want to eat them. I do like that there is a drop and a drop all. So if you just want to drop one, you can drop one. If you want to drop all of the stack, you can do that. And also when you drop all of an item, it will stay there, I'm pretty sure, where you dropped it. A snowshoe hare like spawned randomly while I entered the water. You could probably see it right there. It wasn't there, then all of a sudden it was. And we got the information for the discovery of the snowshoe hare. I think here's a portion where I can talk about one of the things that I wish they had wish they would expand more on in the notebook here is you can obviously kill and skin the snowshoe hare for parts for eating. I wish, and this goes with other portions of the tabs as well, that it would show you what you get from the animal or other materials like trees. It shows what you can use to craft material. But as far as what the rabbit can give you, if you harvest it for food, doesn't show that. For the trees, if you chop them down, it doesn't really show what items you're going to get from those trees. You kind of just have to remember them. This tree gives me this item, that tree gives me those. So I kind of wish they would expand a little bit on that aspect. I was also a little confused on the fine drinking water because I'm in water right now. I'm walking in water. I thought when you entered water, like you would automatically, if you're thirsty, just drink. But you have to press the interact button while you're in water in order to drink it. When you come across certain items you can interact with, such as the stinging nettle, if you don't have the appropriate item required, such as it shows here that you can cut by the blade or the eye icon, which is going into the book. So you can choose to either cut or scroll down and enter the book portion of what the stinging nettle talks about. And when I choose cut, it says the blade is required, so I can't do anything with this bush at this moment. But even in the description, handle the stuff careful like, cut it with a blade, eat the leaves, use the stems for cordage. Fur? Use the stems for cordage? It says FER, right? At this point in the demo, I am blocked off by these brambles. You can pick the salmonberry fruits off of them, but you need an axe to clear the brambles to continue moving to the right section, so you are limited to a smaller section of the demo at first until you, well, craft I don't know, craft a blade or an axe. I think this requires an axe here. So until you do that, you won't be able to proceed through to the next section of the demo. And in order to craft an axe, you need to pick up the correct material for it. Once you pick up the correct material, it'll give you information that you can now craft an axe or blade or whatever. But I haven't picked up the right material yet, so I was a little confused on what to do as far as the drinking water ordeal, creating an axe. Eventually, I did figure out how to drink the water. Thank you. Interesting enough, if you go into the tabs for the nearby, it will show you nearby materials, and so there's 2 water droplets to signify there is water nearby that I can drink. Nothing else though. I don't really know the radius of what the nearby is. I have a feeling it's a pretty small radius. So here I pick up an item and it says stone blade craft learned. So I can finally make a blade as long as I have the appropriate materials for it. So now you know that's going to be how you progressively find schematics is the word I'm looking for. It took me a moment. So if you can't figure out how to build a campfire or a shelter or a blade or an axe or even a bow, it's because you haven't picked up an appropriate material for it. And once you do, then it will bring it up in the crafting menu. I know it's taken me a while, but you can pet the dog, of course. Why wouldn't you be able to pet the dog? Now that I have the blade, I can cut this little bush tree. I forget what it's called. Don't judge me. And I learned the nettle cord, which is something that we need for a stone hatchet. Thanks to note here, your equipment does have a durability to it, so you can only use a stone hatchet so much before the durability makes it break, as well as the, what was it? blades. Those have durabilities as well. I think the bow does, as well as... I think there's something else. I can't remember. But equipment. Equipment, anything you use will have a durability. And also, when you clear away this bramble, you'll notice that you have a stamina bar up top in the left. There are different colors to the stamina bar. So going from left to right here, it's the stamina, and then below where you see the icicle icon is how cold you are. And then the light brown is hunger, and then the little sliver of blue is your thirst. There's also going to be an added section for tiredness, if you need sleep. So as it gets later in the day, the ice bar will expand. And in the demo, it doesn't expand all that much, but it's enough to really hinder your stamina. And the way to clear that up is to craft a campfire. Also, the coldness doesn't stay there forever. It diminishes and disappears completely once you're in the daytime again. It's really only at night where it starts to appear. I did get enough materials to create a elder shortbow. And then of course I had to craft arrows as well, because what's a bow without arrows, right? So at this point we can shoot the rabbits that we find, as well as there's some pheasants, I believe. And here I'm trying to look for where to get conifer bows, as well as alder poles. So I'm going into the plants section to see if maybe they'll tell me. This is again the part of the journal where it doesn't really tell you the information of what you can gain as far as materials go for chopping down a tree or a bush. You just kind of have to remember where items are, where you can get them. I finally picked up some flint, which means I discovered the crafting recipe for campfire. Go finally create a campfire and get warm during these nights. The campfire is kind of cool because once you craft it, and it's going to be crafted where you're in front of where you're facing, where you're standing, and you can choose which stack of wood you want to use to keep the fire going. So if you want to hold on to a certain item, you can, and just use the other items that you have. Click ignite and the fire starts going, and if you don't want the fire going anymore, just click extinguish. The campfire is still going to be there in case you want it later. And if you don't need the campfire right where you placed it, you can click the trash icon to get rid of it. And I believe you will get your materials back. I don't know about the sticks of wood you placed in there to keep the campfire going, but I believe you get the items from the campfire itself when you made it. I'm not sure on that one. I could be lying there. I know you get something back from it when you delete it. It's weird to say you're deleting a campfire, by the way. You don't delete a campfire, you smother it, you leave it alone. You pack it up. You pack it in your bags. Also, when you're standing near a campfire, you have an extra tab or two, one being the campfire and the other one being a roasting spit. So yes, you can create a roasting spit and then cook the materials you get from animals you kill. I'm such a good shot. Tell me I'm a good shot. Tell me I'm a good hunter. I can't play, what is it, Call of the Wild? Call of the Hunter? Something like that? I can't play that game for crap, because you gotta do the whole, like, different animal calls, and then put stuff on your body to block your scent. You gotta creep up on animals, you gotta wait. I can't, no. Just give me a game like this, where there's an animal in front of me, I can just shoot it. I'm pretty good at doing that. As long as it's simplistic. As long as my dog doesn't charge ahead and scare the animal away. By the way, is that a Labrador we have? Like, that's not a proper hunting dog, is it? I would think the game would give us a proper hunting dog. Sorry, I think I said pheasant earlier. It's a ruffed grouse. Occasionally, your dog will grab something and bring it to you. It's kind of helpful, but also not all the time, because sometimes you might have enough of that item, it drops by your feet and you don't really need it, but it's the thought that counts. Also, remember when I said clearing that brush would open up another area to the right? I'm finally going to the right, and it's this little cabin. I was kind of confused on how to enter this cabin because there's no prompt to go inside. I don't understand why they didn't make a prompt here. Just like an arrow or something like that, or light up the cabin outline. Like I think they do with the other items you can pick up or interact with. But all you have to do is stand in front of the cabin and press the interact button in order to go inside. Then you meet this guy. This guy will give you some quests to do, and by completing what he asks, he will give you specific items that will help you in the future of the demo and the full release of the game, for sure. The first thing he wants is some flint in order to give you a canteen, which you can fill with water. For the demo, I feel like water isn't really, it's not scarce. So I don't feel like a canteen would be really required for this portion of the game. I don't know what the other portions of the game are going to be like. I'm sure water could be more scarce in other areas, so a canteen would be helpful in going from one section of the game to another. Once you have the flint, you can go ahead and trade it. You can have the items already on you and then not have to go out and search for the stuff. So if you already have flint on your person, you can just talk to him again and say, hey, I got it, and just not even leave his cabin. Next, we ask him if he's got something better than our bushcraft hatchet. And he does. He gives us a better axe. Again, it has durability on it. I don't know if I used it for cutting down trees or if I used my makeshift one. So I don't know if you're just screwed if you just destroy the durability of the axe that he gives you, because you can't make another one that he gives you for the demo. So maybe I assume if the durability goes to 0 within the demo, then you're just left with making your own axes. It seems like that would be the case. But in order to bring up the next quest, we'll have to give him a stack of firewood at any point that we want to progress the demo. For some reason, we ask if the axe will do any good against a bear. I can't imagine you would want to get that close to a bear. I think if you're that close to a bear, that's when you'll want the axe. But I wouldn't go out running toward a bear with an axe trying to get it out of the way. Which at the very start of the demo, you'll see that there is that bear to the left, which means we can't go to the left until we can get past the bear. The axe is not the way to do that. But here I already had the firewood with me, so I went ahead and gave it to him. And then we asked, got any tips on bush tucker? I don't understand that question. I don't know what he means by bush tucker. Is that like just woodsy slang for something? But he gives us a cooking pot and a thermos. We actually get 2 thermos. I don't know if we were supposed to get 2 of them. I mean, I had 2 in my inventory. But the pot's ours. We just need to give him some fresh mushroom soup. In order to make that, we do need a cooking tripod. And what I don't really like all that much is if you already have a roasting spit on a fireplace, I don't think you can exchange that for the cooking tripod. So if the spit's on there, it's part of the fireplace. Cooking fire pit. What are we talking about here? I'm just gonna say fireplace. No, I'm not. It's a campfire. Oh my god. Listen, I'm a homebody. I'm not a woodsy person, obviously. I just called a campfire a fireplace. But yeah, if there's a roasting spit on there, it is part of the campfire, and you cannot put a cooking tripod on there, nor can you put a pot on there in order to make the soup. The soup goes with the cooking tripod. A little annoying because you have to take down the campfire and then build one anew with a cooking tripod onto it. So, I mean, you can have a number of different campfires along this little strip of land you can wander around on, but I really wish you can kind of change it up. Just take the spit off and exchange it for a tripod. When you do have the cooking at tripod, you can make salmonberry tea or the mushroom soup, which mushroom soup is what we need. I was curious about the salmonberry tea, and I looked forever for this bush with the berries on it. And it was the bush that was part of the bramble that we broke. So there's no more berries in this section. And I couldn't for the life of me remember that part. And I was just like, where is this bush at with the berries? I know I've seen it. I've got the berries in my backpack. No, once you eat the berries themselves, I guess they're just gone from this section and you can't make salmonberry tea. Which you don't need to anyway. Just grab the ingredients for mushroom soup and make it, then bring it back to the guy. For the next section, we ask that if his knee is still giving him grief. And yeah, it is. He's having trouble getting his meds. He has an ATV, but he can't use it due to his lame knee. And so he's going to give us the ATV. This is what's going to help us get past the black bear to the very left side of this area. And also, this is where he warns us about the spotted mushrooms to not eat them. It's kind of adorable how our dog just jumps on the back of this ATV and rides with us. And no, you can't jump off the rocks here. I tried. Doesn't work. You just get off the bike when you press A button on the controller. And once you get past into the next area to the left, that ends the demo. I really like this demo. I feel like Cast and Chill is a lot more chill than this one. Yeah. I guess with Cast and Chill, it could be an idle game. So there's that. And this one, I don't see how it could play out as an idle game, especially if you start to freeze at night. You'd probably die from that. If a bear attacks you, you'd probably die from that. I don't know if you could die at the very beginning of this game by confronting that bear. I assume it's a possibility in this game. You're in the wilderness, and this little screenshot I have here has a bear chasing us on the ATV, even though the ATV should scare off bears. Apparently this one is the exception to that rule. But I love the art style. I didn't even say that in this review. I will have it placed into a positive section, so you guys know that I adore this pixel art style. I said it in Cast and Chill, I think, but it's like a sloppy kind of pixel art, but it looks so good when combined together. It's not pretty and decorative in the way some pixel art games are. I mean, it's still pretty and decorative, by the way, but Yeah, there's not too many bad things to say about this demo. I really liked it.